following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on the break!
With Ambar Garcia, Bryan Broaddus, Voch Lombardi, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Monday, October 27th, 2025, Season 21, Episode number 66. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break. We are live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at The Star. We're presented by LG. LG is the world's #1 OLED TV brand for 11 years and counting. See why at lg.com/OLED Evo. All right, we got to break down this Cowboys beatdown. They lose to the Broncos 44-24. Not a good game on most accounts for the Cowboys. Lots of different things that didn't go according to plan for them, I would assume. Let's start first with the story of the game. If you had to put it in a big picture context, what's the story of the game? Voch, let's start with you.
You okay there before I get started?
No, I'm not, man.
What's going on, man?
This is bad.
We need therapy today.
Yeah, this is a good day for therapy.
I'm not equipped to handle this kind of therapy.
See, does anybody else have this experience? I wake up every Monday morning or whatever is the day after the game, and the first thing that pops into my mind is either, oh, yeah, they did win, or, oh, God, they lost.
Yeah.
Like, is that the first, like, this? It's literally the first thing that pops into my mind.
Yeah.
And if it is a loss, that's going to color the rest of my day.
No, I wake up. Thank you, Jesus, for another breath.
That's
Thank you
facts.
for being alive.
I should do
No.
that.
That's facts.
You know what? You're right. I definitely should do that.
It's
But
when
that ain't
I-
what happened.
In
It's
football
on the
season,
drive
that is
here.
not what happens.
It's on the drive here that all of that comes to mind. I'm like, oh Christ, what kind of content am I gonna create for the week? Like,
I don't
fans
answer
are
my
gonna
phone.
hate everything that we post.
Yeah.
So,
It's
yeah.
just, I don't know. I just, working in this business is really tough. It's really tough on days like today. But anyway, go ahead. Big picture. What's the story of the game? Voch.
Man, your offense was never going to put 40 points on this elite defense at their house, and your defense just didn't buy you enough time. We like to talk about how consistent the offense is. Let's take an opportunity to talk about how consistent the defense is. They consistently give up the same amount of nonsense every single week. I believe the punter only punted one time up until like 5 minutes left at the end of the game, and we saw him punt one more, and that was in garbage time. So, yeah, man, feel terrible for this offense. Feel like they never really got going late because they had to get out of their game plan because they was chasing. So, there it is.
Yeah, when you we broke down the game last week leading up to it, you kind of feel like you had the advantage at quarterback and going into this one. But give Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos a lot of credit for the way that their game plan, the way they attacked the Dallas defense. You know, Dallas was really compromised in the secondary. That was very, very clear of that. But the way that their quarterback, the way that Bo Nix played I thought was exceptional for that. Sean had a really nice plan for him. The way that he was able to stand in the pocket, you know, Dallas didn't really pressure him at all. And that's something that, you know, when you give a young quarterback the opportunity, we've seen games where you play a lot of zone coverage against him and he'll struggle a little bit. You kind of thought with that first interception, like, oh, here we go. It's going to be one of these days, you know, with Bo Nix. But it never really materialized that way. So you got to tip your cap to, you know, I was kind of worried about, you know, Cortland Sutton and those other guys, you know, making plays in this game. But, you know, there were some guys that you hadn't seen make plays for the Broncos all year that stepped up and did that. So the tip of the cap to them. They played very well. They managed their quarterback. They ran the ball exceptionally well. And their offensive line is really, really good. We talked about this too, was that where the pressures were going to come. I think they gave up 5 pressures for the game. We told you it was all going to be off that right side. That's where it was. All the pressures came off that right side. So had an idea where you need to attack, just weren't good enough attacking that spot.
I am concerned of what awaits after the bye and everything that's to come. Because here's my thing with this team. We see what they can be capable of. We've seen what the offense can do. But if you take yourself away from, you know, us being so close to the game and the Cowboys, when you look at the teams that they actually beat this season, that's not very impressive. So is it that we are maybe fantasizing about what this team can be, or is this what they actually are? They're a team that are not capable of beating another team that is a contender, you know? You look at the Packers. That was a tie. They weren't able to stop it. And it all goes back to the defense. We keep talking about the offense, and Voch, you mention it all the time. The offense has to have a stellar game for the Cowboys to even have a chance. Not even win, have a chance to win. And this was a game where your offense was just average. It wasn't what we've seen all season, which is fair. You know, it happens. You're not going to have an amazing game every week. And Dak, you know, he had trouble there, and I'm sure we'll get into it later, but also with the O-line and some of the protection there, his game was affected in that way. But I'm losing hope there, Eric. That's the end of the story. And you know, the trade talk continues to be a topic of conversation, and I just keep going back and forth in my head of like, okay, yes, it sounds good to save the picks and all that draft, but at the same time, we're in it right now. Like, this is it. Like, we're in it right now, and I get it. Not one player is going to come here and be magical and change the whole defense, but it's something. It's something that it gives your defense if we're talking about trading for a defensive player, but I'm sure you guys don't want to talk about that right now. We'll get into the game, but we don't.
I would love to talk about that dude.
It's hard to pass on the thought when you know it's happening right now.
Well, but you could also look at it if it's now, but think about now and then think about potentially in 26 and 27 and 28 if you get a particular guy that we can't talk about. You know, I mean, to me, I'm going to look at the big picture of this thing. Don't focus on what's going to happen in the next 10 weeks. Focus on, like, if that guy can come in there and if he can help you, if that player, whoever that player is, if that player can come in and help you, and I'm not talking about a rental. You know, if it's a rental player, you're not going to have to pay as steep a price as you might some other way. But if you go out and get one of these big fish, you land one of those, then it turns into, okay, help me for 10 games, see where we're at, and then now we could focus on building around things in 26, 27, and 28.
You know, it's interesting, Bryan, because I think we kind of have been pitted opposite each other on this, but I think really we're saying the same thing, because what I've said from the very beginning is I don't want to give up the picks unless you give me a guy still on his first contract.
Sure.
And I have the ability to get him long-term, and he is a long-term asset for this defense. In that way, it's actually a pretty good move, because what you're getting is you're getting a known commodity.
Sure.
And what you're getting, and you don't have to worry about trying to draft to try to get that guy. You know what you're getting, and you still have years on his contract. Now, the flip side of that is you can't do that too much, because you still need young players with the salary cap. You got to have some guys on first contracts that you're not paying big money. But all things considered, I agree with you if you're going to get one of those big fish. The hard thing about that is it's not very often. It happens, but not very often that a team is willing to part ways with a stud who is still on that first contract.
Yeah, that's, you know, if to me it's that's the whole evaluation, the level of where you're comfortable of going to get a guy. Like I say, I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking the big player. I'm thinking I've got the assets to potentially go get a big time player. I've also got assets and players that can maybe I could swap a guy for. You know, to me this is I'm going to give my guy that sits next to me right now a lot of credit, because we did a show today already this morning where he said, listen, I'll give you one of those picks for a guy, and you know what? I'll give you a second round pick to go get another guy. And, you know, we're starting to talk about there's some guys out there. There's some edges. There's some defensive tackles. Again, we can't get into them on this show, but you guys got to get the idea of what we're talking about. A guy here said, listen, keep one of your ones. You know, you're going to have the 2 ones every for the next 2 years. Move one of the ones, move another one, and then, okay, you take care of that player. Then if you want to just give a straight second-round pick, that takes you out of the drafting market. You're right, but you're going to maybe get a young defensive tackle,
2 All-Pros,
that's on the market. So now you've really helped your team. You've taken 3 picks to get 2 potential All-Pro players that are in that range where you're still going to get 4 to 5 years out of them as players. I think that's a brilliant way to think about things right now. The uncertainty of drafting guys, it's every year. But if you told me that I could take 2 1s and a 2 and go get 2 potential All-Pro players for this team, and not just for the next 10 games, but for the next few years, I think I have to entertain that.
So let me ask you this question, because I agree with you. How prone do you think a team would be to give up that caliber of player for 1-1? Because you're saying
no. The two, you're giving the 2 1s up, so you're actually 2 1s and a 2 potentially. That's if you believe what it could take to go get a defensive tackle. And God, I hate we can't talk about this, but I understand it.
If hypothetically there's a top 5 edge that'll take 2 1s, and maybe on the East Coast there's a 1 tech that you've probably played this year already that's a top tier dude, and there's rumors that team is
stick
willing
with
to move
a
him.
defensive tackle, just a defensive tackle in the league,
and
or a
let's just say that
defensive end in the league.
hypothetically they're willing to move
At
him.
this point, he's saying everything but the name.
That they're willing to move him for a 2, and Bryan got confirmation by some of the gangsters in his phone that says, yeah, I think they'll move him for a 2. I'm saying,
So you can get a all-pro kind of player
Yes, sir.
for a 2.
Yeah,
that's what some of the
Really?
people,
that's what some of the.
I would be definitely in on that.
that's what some
I
guys
see. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to do this,
I was befuddled when I heard it too.
Yeah,
Look, if you can do that, yeah.
there you go. See,
I'm in.
that's what I'm saying. And I'm not trying to blow smoke up everybody's rear right now. I'm just telling you what the conversations are right now in the trade market. So, but you gotta keep trying. And to Ambar, I mean, you talk about like, well, I don't know about this year. I don't know if it helps and all. Well, not just you, Amber. A lot of people. My timeline has been filled the last 2 weeks of, hey, how do you trade? How do you trade? How do you get this? How do you do this? To last night of, well, you're not good enough. Don't try. Well, don't think of it as just 10 games. Yeah. Think of it as the next
it has
3.
to be, yeah.
Think about the next 3-4 years, and that's how you build.
If anything, you're getting a head start for
Right.
us.
There you
Exactly
go.
right. That's how you have to think about it.
There you
That's
go.
exactly right.
And you still
You're ahead of the game at
and
that
you
point.
still have, say, you keep your own picks. Now you have the ability to move the Green Bay picks. But what if they say, well, listen, we'll take your picks, and you're like, okay, well, that's if that's what it takes, maybe you have to think about that. So, it's. The trade market can definitely help you if you're willing to play in it in a way. And, I think this group is willing. Let's see if the other teams are willing to play along with you.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to dive into the offensive part of the game and
a good way to
what we saw from Dak Prescott yesterday. We'll talk about that when we come back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
How's it going? You see that Cowboys game?
Oh, I watched. Been seeing some good things.
Totally. They have some talent.
Yup, some great talent.
And they got some fight.
Hoping this is the year.
Me too. Oh, I'm Cody, by the way.
I'm Travis.
Nice to meet you, Travis. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys!
Make a new friend based solely on their shirt choice. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
I'm home. Hey, Mom, before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you...
Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finale ready to play. Here's your wine.
Wow. Isn't it nice not having to ask? We think so. That's why if there's a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service, guaranteed. Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or for wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for details.
Back to the break.
Choose perfection. Choose LG OLED Evo. Check out the best TV in the game at LG.com.
Welcome back. We're in the second segment of the break live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star, and we're working through this thing. Let's talk about Dak Prescott. Yesterday he was this segment brought to you by blockchain.com. Thanks, bro.
Also, too, I just want to let everybody know that's listening to all the top tier Illuminati people in they big leather chairs and they big desks right now. I don't know nothing. I don't work here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a dude that just show up I'm a guest. You know what I'm saying? So don't nothing fall upon the organization as a whole. I don't know Jerry. I don't know Steven. I don't know Jerry Jr. I don't know Charlotte or they nephews. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all heard something I said and say, hey, who this character talking about? Is he talking to the people over there? I ain't talking to nobody organization. You feel me? I just podcast on Monday through Friday. You know what I'm talking about? But go ahead, Derek. My fault. Just in case it was
I
anybody.
have no idea what
Just in case it was anybody in a suit and a high chair and a large desk eating their lunch right now saying, is this guy on the phone? Right, stop. Is this guy on the phone with people? I'm not on the phone with them people. I'm just hypotheticalizing, you know what I'm saying? Right. Something I saw on Twitter. You feel me? So that's it.
Thank you for that clarification.
Hey, man, look, you got to do what you got to do, man. On camera, you got to tell them. You know what I mean?
I almost called you your full name right there.
Who that?
You.
Oh, you can say what you want.
Okay.
They know who I am.
All right. Let's move on. Dak Prescott yesterday, 19 of 31, 61% completion rate, 188 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a 51.5 rating. I would think, I haven't looked at it statistically, but I would think this is probably, certainly watching it, was the worst game he's had this year in an otherwise MVP caliber season.
Yeah.
My question for you guys is, what was different yesterday? Outside of the fact, we know big picture, this is just a really good defense. Yeah. They can put pressure on you. They got good guys on the back end. What was so different yesterday? Was he experiencing a lot more pressure? Because we've seen times this year when he's carved up pressure. Like, there's been pressure there. Dak just killed the pressure. What was so different about yesterday that made it so tough for Dak to get going?
I think it was a ton of pressure comboed with coverage on the back end. And there were times where you could throw the football, and there were times where you could run. But sometimes game flow, negative plays, play calling sometimes from shoddy or penalties will get you in a situation where you're one-dimensional. And the Cowboys offense are at their best when they can do whatever they want to do when they want to do it. So if they get you in a second and long, third and long, they have an idea where you're going to go with it. Then they got to a point in the game to where we're just playing catch up because Denver only punted one time in the first 3.5 quarters. So I think Dak is mostly efficient with the ball, but there are times when, all right, I got to press and I got to catch up. Dak in catch-up mode throws picks. I heard somebody on the radio this morning say that Dak in a clutch situation where you need points, he kind of clinches up a little bit. I think that's false because the Green Bay game was full of those.
Yeah.
Like Dak isn't like a that kind of guy. But when he's playing catch-up from multiple points, that's when he has to press. And the defense that you're playing against, they know that you're throwing, so they're playing pass defense. Plus this pass rush that 25 hurries or something yesterday, a couple of hits and 3 sacks or something like that, however many it was. Yeah, then it's bad.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a problem.
2 sacks.
2 sacks. I think one of the interceptions though, him and Lamb, when you watch it on tape, he clearly thought if it's zone coverage, you keep going. If it's man coverage, you sit down and stuff like that. And so, to me, it was one of those situations where he was expecting CD to do something else, and he read it one way. And they were trying to throw the double move on the outside to Pickens, and it didn't work. And Dak came back inside late, and Lamb, I think, didn't think he was going to get the ball.
Oh, Lamb didn't even see it. I don't.
No, he never looked back at Dak for the ball, and Dak just saw the jersey flash and thought he can maybe try and fit it inside to CD. And the play clearly was designed for the out and up, and it didn't go. But I think though what also too the because of the score made you one-dimensional. You had to catch up. You could sense the pressure of the game that if you even gave the ball back to Denver, it was going to be points. And that's a terrible way to play football. They just could not get off the field in order to give the offense a chance. I will say this, though. What was a little disappointing is Patrick Surtain did not play majority of that football game.
Yeah.
Out definitely second half.
Yeah.
And so now you're thinking about, okay, where are their guys? They found Bridges for you. Sean Payton found Bridges. Went out him 12 times for 6 completions. They found him during that game. And so, okay, now the next point is on the other side of it, listen, their best player is now off the field.
Yeah.
And you took opportunity. McMillan 4 targets, 2 catches. Probably should have been more there. The one that they really went after was Chris Abrams' Drain.
Yeah.
Is who they went after. 8 targets, 8 catches. Needed to kind of maybe think about, okay, we need a play right now. Let's go this way. Like, to go after Riley Moss, to me, is not that he's a guy that's kind of played at a pretty high level because nobody wants to throw the ball to Surtain. So to me, it's you wonder why sometimes that it's like, why do you feel like they're attacking us? And there's because of being compromised, but on the other end, you're not attacking. I think this was a bad game for Dallas offensively of not attacking compromised defense in that way.
I haven't had time to go back and watch everything again this morning, but based on what I did see yesterday, I mean, this looked like an offense that wasn't on the same page. Not everyone, and we've seen it throughout the season. They seem to be on the same page, and like Dak knows when to throw it, and even in those tight throws, like whoever the receiver is makes that catch. But in this instance, I feel like Dak was completely off his game. If you look at the 2 interceptions, the first one, the one that was with
down the middle of the field.
Yeah, where he throw it to Jake.
Yeah.
There was no pressure. There was good protection at that moment, and he still throws it. Jake hadn't even turned just yet. So the timing there was off. You can talk about the one with CD. Yes, there was pressure there. The guy's coming right at him, and Dak just like, oh, let me throw this ball. He throws it, and obviously gets intercepted there. But CD wasn't even in the right spot just yet either. So I think this is a game where Dak just had an off game. Maybe the overall pressure, maybe it was maybe the catching up or having to catch up, but the game plan there, even when they try to run into the end zone, that Dak keeps the ball, I was a little confused by that play. I'm like, you got Javonte Williams, which you did, and then he gets in there. But it's like those things where at times I'm like, okay, if it was me calling the plays and all that. Coach Ambar. Yeah. Javonte Williams. Hand him the ball a lot more. So I don't want to say this because I know how much this coach puts into the preparation, but it just felt like they were not prepared enough for this game.
That defense will do that to you, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if I feel that as much as I just feel like, to be honest with you, I feel like they were outmatched. I look at that defensive front for Denver, and I'm like, they exposed all the things that we knew were problems for this Cowboys offense. And we know left tackle is a problem. We know right tackle is a problem. We know center can be a problem at times. We know sometimes when you loop guys around, be problems for the right guard. We saw all those things yesterday, and what it resulted in my opinion, was more pressure on Dak. I think you combine that with, because I said earlier, there have been other games this year where he's seen pressure. You combine that with a back end that is covering very well, because that was the difference yesterday, in my opinion. And now it's like you just like that route to Ferguson up the middle. Like that was a situation where I think the coach was thinking, let's take a shot here before the half. Because I was looking at that and I was like, I was sitting there talking to Nick, and I'm like, try to get 6-7 yards, get 3 points here before the half. You get the ball back in the second half. I didn't understand the concept of why you're even trying to throw that. Why that play is even what you're trying to do in that situation, because in that situation, your offense just couldn't get going, and he threw into a bad situation. But I just feel like, I don't know if that's about preparation as much as I just feel like they were pressing at that point. They were like, we got to do something, rather than saying, get the 3. You got a good kicker, get the 3, and then go to halftime.
Because his defense doesn't really give you a lot of room to chill out.
Right, and that's the problem. When you expect the offense to have to be perfect every week, now you put them in a situation where you're asking them to do more than just play the game and let the game come to them.
Okay, you're talking like we haven't been talking every week and rating this offense very highly, despite the issues that we've seen at times. Some of the guys on the offensive line getting beat at times, but it hasn't been a big enough issue to where you're talking about that being the main problem and this and that. It has been a little bit here and there, but they've been able to do enough. And then all of a sudden, one of the best defenses in the league, but we're talking about one of the best offenses in the league.
Right,
too.
but you said it at the beginning of the show. Who are the teams that they've beaten? Like, so if you're going to make that claim that look at the teams they've beaten. No, I'm just saying if we're going to make
Beam, did you see him? If he had Beam, he been wanting to make that point last week.
If you're going to make that claim, then I think the problem becomes that you can't make that claim and then not give credence when now you play the best what I think is the best defense in the league, certainly the best defense the Cowboys have faced this season, and not expect that there's going to be a difference. Again, I think this is a really good offense. I think when they are playing in a situation where they can't trust that their defense is going to be able to get stops, it becomes a problem against a great defense.
Just for context, like Green Bay is a top 5 defense. I think Denver outranks them in everything by like 3 spots.
Yes.
The coverage is so much better on the back end.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask this on Friday, but we got off topic, whatever. I didn't get to.
It's therapy. Yeah.
But when I started working here, one of the things that Derek would always talk about was like, defenses win championships. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, over the years, he's changed his course. And
I've never changed my
Yes.
No, I have not.
Yes, you have, because I've heard it before. And you talked about...
tell me. Okay.
Debate team Ambar. Get him.
We have an archive of shows.
Tell him about himself.
Feel free to pull them out. I would love to hear them.
Tell him about himself.
But
feel free.
Based on what I've heard you talk and come out of your mouth... Mm-hmm. It seems like that has started to change over the years to where now you can make it happen with really good offense.
No. What the only thing I believe is I think the NFL has changed a little bit. So I do think that it's like
he started tapping on stuff.
I've been with it for 15 years.
He'll break everything on this table. Go ahead, man.
No, I mean, look, I do think offenses have changed. The league has made it to where it is a game that is slanted toward the offenses. So great, I understand that. But I still believe wholeheartedly that if you are going to win in today's NFL, there are going to be games, particularly in the playoffs, when your defense is going to have to step up. And it's one of the things, if you watch the teams that have been winning the last several years, I'll give Kansas City. Kansas City is a great example. Kansas City is not a defensive team. They are led by the best quarterback in the NFL. But if you watch them in the playoffs, they inevitably have 2 or 3 games in the playoffs where their defense shows up big. Their defense plays out of their mind. Spagnuolo has them rolling. And it's not that they have a great defense. They're opportunistic. They find those moments in games where they can make plays. And so I think that's today's NFL. You need to have, at the very least, an opportunistic defense that knows how to make stops at the right times, can get you some turnovers at the right time. They don't have to be shut down. You don't have to have the 85 Bears in order to win in the NFL today. You do have to have a defense that's capable of getting stops at times and at the most critical times, or you will not win.
Can I make 2 real quick points?
Sure.
Yeah.
Barron was on coverage, by the way. They treated Ferguson. Ferguson didn't have a receptionist. They treated Ferguson like a receiver.
By the way, Barron, although he plays safety, he's a corner.
No, he's a corner.
He's a corner.
He's a corner. But, man, he is really good. We loved him coming out of the draft at Texas.
Excellent at Texas.
One of the best covered guys you were seeing coming out of the draft. So that's how they treated. That's what they thought about Ferguson. That just gives you a little bit of an idea. I think when you sit down and really, really study the tape, I don't think that Tyler Guyton played all that poorly. when you look against who he was going against, Nick Bonito, and how he plays, yeah, he had 4 pressures. If you look at how the pressures got broken down, and by the way, Steele was on his guy 93% of the time one-on-one, and on the other side you had Guyton was about 88%. So they left those tackles on an island. They had 9 pressures inside. Their guys their inside 3 had 9 pressures, where their edge guys had 8 pressures. That just showed you it wasn't all about their edge rushers. It really was about how could you control, things inside. And I think that was a big problem. But when you go back and watch Guyton and how he played, I think against a quality edge rusher, he more than held his own against that. That was encouraging to me. I know he's going to give up some pressures, but that could have turned into something really, really, really ugly in that football game, and it didn't. And I think you got to give him some credit. Maybe hopefully gave him some confidence going forward.
All right, we're going to take our final break. We're going to come back. Let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball. We need to spend a little time talking about those folks. And I'm going to ask you guys a big question. Like, at this point, what could you change? What could be different? Where could you start addressing the problems that exist on this defense in order to give this team some semblance of a chance? We'll do that when we come right back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
I'm home. Hey, Mom, before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you...
Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finale ready to play. Here's your wine.
Wow.
Isn't it nice not having to ask? We think so. That's why if there's a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service, guaranteed. Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or for wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for details.
If you can't be at the stadium, there's no better way to watch your Cowboys than on an LG OLED Evo TV. That's because everything you see is more lifelike. Every play, every hit. I mean, you might as well be on the sidelines. That's how clear it is. It's all thanks to LG's legendary technology. Perfect black, over 8.3 million self-lit pixels. No one comes close. LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game for a reason. See for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
How's it going? You see that Cowboys game?
Oh, I watched. Been seeing some good things.
Totally. They have some talent.
Yup, some great talent.
And they got some fight.
Hoping this is the year.
Me too. Oh, I'm Cody, by the way.
I'm Travis.
Nice to meet you, Travis. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys!
Make a new friend based solely on their shirt choice. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
From the field to the festivities, Lucchese embodies the essence of luxury and tradition. Handcrafted with meticulous precision, each pair offers unmatched comfort and style. Stand tall while you're tailgating or cheering in the stands with the Dallas Cowboys collection by Lucchese. Shop the collection today at the Lucchese store at the Star in Frisco or online at lucchese.com. Lucchese, the official boot of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Back to the break.
AT&T connecting changes everything.
Welcome back. We're in the final segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios.
That was loud.
Sorry. Let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. Okay, so if you had to look at this defense now, and we've been talking about this since the beginning of the season. I was telling my wife this morning, I was like, there was nothing about that game yesterday from a defensive standpoint that should have been a surprise to anyone. We've seen this defense go up against Russell Wilson and make him look really good. We saw him go up against Bryce Young and make him look really good. We saw Bo Nix have a great day yesterday. Like there are quarterbacks that you would not put in the upper echelon of the NFL that have had really, really great days against this defense. So there was nothing that we saw yesterday that was a real big departure from that. But that being said, as you move forward, what exactly can you do at this point? Because it seems like there's leakage everywhere. It seems like there are problems everywhere. How do you solve that?
I think the best way to kind of go after this, and me and Bryan might be fussing. We might end up screaming about this. Everybody just get ready.
I mean, at this point, we're used to it.
I think my broadcast partner here thinks that this defense is as simple as it can come, that it's been broken down to as simple as it can be. I think there's another kindergarten level I think that you can go down to, because it's not like you simply got beaten by somebody that's a better player than you. It's like another bust and somebody is wide the hell open right behind you, and now we looking at each other like, what the hell going on? There's still some little pieces here or there that, and maybe I'm speaking out of, I don't know nothing, y'all. I don't know nothing. It just looked like they don't practice what they're asked to go out there to do. They don't look prepared for it. So what I've always seen coaches do in my experience is we'll practice something, and if we don't practice it absolutely perfectly, we're not going to run it out there on game time. I had this old coach, Coach Woodard. He said, I will run inside zone 52 times if we don't learn counter. That's basically what he taught us. And you're not allowed to learn something new until you lock up something perfectly. I haven't seen the Cowboys run anything perfectly this year. So defensively. So if I could say what can I change? Man, I know we try to get cute with some looks where we try to mess up the young quarterbacks there. I don't want to see Jadeveon Clowney driving back in coverage, bro. I don't want to see these zone coverages where we're forced to talk and communicate, bro. If we can't talk and communicate, just go run some man. I know my broadcast partner here got a number for man coverage versus zone coverage and blitz versus non-blitzing, but man, it's looking like the other team putting 40 on us regardless. So if they're going to put 40 on us regardless, I'd rather us just man up and just blitz where we can. Because if we talking about running some zone to try to mess the other guy up, we might be messing ourselves up and outthinking our own self, trying to outthink somebody else.
Yeah, this is probably an unpopular thing, but I don't think it's the low-hanging fruit. And I think it's really easy when you start to talk about the coordinator, and not defending the coordinator here, because he's just as much at fault. You know, these guys that go out there and you talk about preparation, stuff like that. I don't get to see that. I don't think, we get to watch it for 15 minutes. We get to watch stretching. We don't know, what's going on here every single day. But I do know this, though, the times where he has tried to blitz and the times that he's had to try and play man, quarterbacks are throwing at about a 73% clip when it comes to completion percentage on those plays. There is something fundamentally wrong. Yeah, you could say the scheme is flawed in ways, but I think you're working with flawed players right now. And I know that Voch and I will get into this. He's absolutely right. We'll get into it about, why does Fowler have 10 sacks last year and have nothing going on this year? Why is all of a sudden that
Osa, Kenny Clark, Jadeveon Clowney,
guys doing it, you very well could be right. You very well could be right. I just feel like, though, to me, there are times when he's asked this defense to do things, and when it's been done the right way, it's worked out. It hadn't happened a whole hell of a lot, but man, I think, and especially yesterday, I think yesterday is a really bad example because of the secondary. I think that secondary was a mess yesterday. And you made a quarterback look a lot better than he's played all year.
Yep.
You didn't have a pass rush. He had about 2.7 seconds to throw. When you blitzed, he ate you up. He was 6 of 8 against the blitzes for 92 yards. There's been problems. And I think, to me, that especially with yesterday, that secondary, there was no chance. There was no chance to stop the Denver Broncos from throwing the football. Now, the problem with that, though, on the other flip side of it is, though, you had problems stopping the run again. And those are the players that you can kind of rely on. And is that scheme? Is that players? I think to me, though, you watch these players, they don't get off blocks well. They don't fit. They don't do the things necessarily that is key for making that work.
Yeah, it's interesting, Bryan. I was thinking about this during the game. I can think of 2 instances right offhand when they ran off tackle to Sam's side. Sam goes inside, and I can't tell if this is the way the defense is designed. He's going inside, and so there's a linebacker or a safety that should be filling to the outside, or if he's just taking liberties and not protecting the edge. But it seems to happen consistently enough. This is not just yesterday. This is throughout the year. We've seen this where teams will run off tackle, and if it's to Sam's side, Sam's taking that inside gap. And who is supposed to be manning that outside edge?
Me and Bryan, when we were watching film on this last week, because this happens a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does look like it's Sam's job to cross face and somebody to step back up. But sometimes I think Sam just does end up on the other side of the, like he'll get he'll get pushed in the other C gap.
It's a Tank Lawrence move. You remember how Tank used
would just feel something and get
Tank's all of a sudden it's a third and 3, and Tank would get that feeling of just knife it and try and go for the TFL.
Try to make a big tackle.
Try to make the big play. But when Sam does it, like you'll see it, and it puts somebody out of position. When they're really good playing the run, and it's very rare, but it's Sam down, it's a fit behind him, and it's another fit to the outside.
And somebody's not getting there.
And they get caught inside. Yeah. Sam gets caught all the way down inside. They don't get Leofau out. They don't get James all the way out. Let's be honest too. If you look at just the metrics with James being on the field when teams run the ball, 6.1 yards a carry. Mm-hmm. There's a learning curve for him right now. But it's very, very rare. The one guy that you have has not been playing is Sanborn, 3.5 yards a carry when he's on the field. Mm-hmm. There might be something to that with teams running the football, but there needs to be better when it's a game where it's a stun inside and it's an outside fill and an outside fill. That needs to be executed. And if it's not, then you're going to give up 41-yard runs for touchdowns.
Yeah, honestly, it goes back to kind of my point on this defense is until you solve the run defense, it's kind of just a moot conversation because you can't be giving up both, right? If you can stop the run, at least you got a shot at some point if you can get into situations where they have to throw. If receivers drop balls, right, you got a chance there. But if you can't stop, if teams are regularly reeling off 7, 8, 9 yards a carry, it's just like what are you going to do?
So what has changed? Because I remember there was that period where the run defense got significantly better. Other than Sanborn coming off with the injury, what has changed? They started declining.
That's what I said last week. I brought that question up to you guys. It seems like maybe it's not just a coincidence that since Sanborn has been off, they've been horrible against the run. Now, that's not saying he was great. It just means they have been worse. They've been horrible trying to stop the run since Sanborn's been off the field. Maybe that's because of Sanborn. Maybe it's because of something else. I'm just saying that seems like a big coincidence.
The run defense was good last week against Krosky Merritt. 3.2 yards a carry. The only thing that they got on you was the quarterback runs. Yeah. That was the biggest problem.
Did that game, though, get away from them to where they had to get away from it as the game wore on?
That very well, yeah. Their quarterback got hurt. So, absolutely, yeah. The game, it's very similar to what happened to you yesterday.
Right.
It happens too in these games. Carolina game. Teams run the ball so well that it gets you out of, what the balance that you have.
Right. Yeah. Because honestly, going back to the offensive side of the ball, I didn't think the Cowboys were horrible running the ball yesterday. I think the game got away from them.
Yeah.
And they had to start throwing because I've heard people say, well, the Cowboys run game 2 out of 3 weeks hasn't been great. I don't think yesterday was what we saw in Carolina. It wasn't that. I thought it was just the game got away from them. They had to get away from the run.
Yeah, you just couldn't keep running. And this offensive line, they may give up, passing stuff, but we are a solid run blocking offensive line. It's just that this defense or whatever. But to the other point, the Broncos and the Panthers, it's in their DNA to be a power running team. I think the Washington Football Wizards, I think they want to throw the ball more, but they'll get Bill Krosky Merritt going. I don't like calling him Bill. They'll get him going as hey, we're trying to set the run up via pass. The pass up via the run game. Those other two teams, they want to run the football all day, and they really don't want to throw it all. They don't want Bryce Young to throw the ball, and Broncos really don't want Bo Nix to be throwing the football. It's just that the Cowboys defense make everybody's dreams come true there. So that's probably why they were worse against those teams than others.
People are making fun of us in the chat.
What they say?
Just about the Sanborn thing. It's now we.
Hey. All I'm saying is,
we don't.
But here's the deal. I do believe that, and I've been consistent with this. I think if there's any position that's going to change the fortunes, if you could find one position that will change the fortunes of this defense, to me it is linebacker. I really believe that if you had a good sideline to sideline, consistent guy that can get off blocks and get to the ball and make the tackle, I think that would make the biggest difference for this defense. It's not going to change it into being a great shutdown defense.
Yeah.
It will make this defense, it will take them to the point where maybe they can stop the run more consistently, and that means they'll get off the field maybe a couple more times a game.
So when Demo comes back, what's going to be the combination of linebacker there? Is it going to be him and Murray, or is it going to be him and Sanborn, or one of the young guys maybe?
Here's also my thing.
Because one thing that they won't do is take Murray off the field. Like they'll rotate everybody else but him.
They do seem to really like K9. But here's my thing.
They do.
They do. The one thing I will say is I think we all have to slow down a little bit on Overshown too.
Agree.
Like it's gonna take a little bit for him to get going, I would assume, and that's natural. Like the guy hasn't played football in a year, so you got to give a little bit of time for him to get back in the flow of the game and be ready to go. But even at that, like he is the type of linebacker they need. They need somebody, like I said, that can flow sideline to sideline, that can make plays for them, that can get in position, that knows where to go. You know, right now they don't have anybody other than him. So I think
when you get him back, plus the trade you make, very soon.
Oh, Ambar.
I mean, the combination. Now y'all better watch out for this defense. They're gonna start.
Y'all.
The only thing, like I
Y'all
say,
better watch out.
you know, you just look at and I just quickly looked at the metrics just to make sure it was Sanborn and it's he's had 114 run snaps. He's had 20 tackles at 114. He's had 2 run stuffs. I mean, everybody in this team has had either 1, 2 run stuffs. But you look at it overall, though, when he's on the field, it's 3.9. When he's off the field, it's 5.8. That's not a lie. I mean, Kenny Clark. I mean, he's a 4.5 when on the field, 5.6 when off the field. I mean, there's certain guys that are run defenders when on and off the field that their numbers are going to be really, really high.
Yep. And I think that's something that we ought to pay attention to, because right now it ain't working. They're going to need to do something. It's not working right now.
Well, example, like I said, Shamar James, 6.1 on the field, 3.9 off the field. That's a rookie linebacker playing football right now.
What about the Osa number? Him and
Osa is 4.7 on and 5.1 off.
I'm thinking about our backup guy. Who?
Solomon
Thomas. Solomon Thomas, 4.3 on, 5.4 off.
See,
just about the same.
I would want to play Solomon a little bit more in the run game. I think he's a dude in the run game.
I think those are numbers worth paying attention to.
It's just, like I said, it's metrics and things you can look at. And, hey, it's when guys are on and off the field, it's something you have to kind of take into account for.
Yep. All right. Appreciate you guys joining us. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll do a little big picture. We'll go inside the brain of Bryan Broaddus. He'll have some questions for us. Till then, for Voch Lombardi, Bryan Broaddus, and Ambar Garcia, I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!